Hey, Dad, can you turn up the volume in my headphones?
Yeah. There you go. Is that good?
Yeah.
That's what God made fathers, babe. That's what God made fathers. Remember that? Welcome to our second anthology horror movie. And certainly not the last. More to come.
And the tease.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
You know, the nice thing about anthology movies is that if you don't like the story you're watching, it's only like a quarter of the movie, so you just have to wait like 20 minutes, and then you got a whole new one with new possibilities starting up.
Dad, when did you first see Creepshow?
It was on HBO, so it was on cable TV. Shortly after we got cable TV and right before we got rid of cable TV because my mom thought MTV was a bad influence on my sister Brooke. And some buddies and I think we're at a sleepover in like 7th grade. So it was me, BJ, John, I think David, and I think a couple of them got bored after the second story in this. And also the intros and the best about the abusive dad and little kid who's into the dark comics. By the way, that's why I let you read whatever you want to read, so you don't grab a voodoo doll and go to town on me. But they got distracted and started talking baseball cards or Dungeons and Dragons or something. But I hung in, and I got to be really rewarded with the two strongest entries of this movie, which blew me away at the time. And I think gave me a kind of heightened experience, so that I came away being a real champion of this movie. But they were more than ready to move on to the next movie of the sleepover night, which I think was Slapshot. We should have watched that first. It's a great movie. We'll watch it. It's about ice hockey.
So, what was the playground chatter on this one? Wait, were you in elementary school?
No, this would have been middle school. And I think kids were really only talking about the crate and creeping up on you, because those were sort of the most memorable and shocking of the bunch. But I recall some guys going around saying, "It's Father's Day and I want my cake."
What about something to tide you over? That one's so good.
I think that one's, you benefit from a little bit more maturity to really appreciate that one. But let me take you from the 80s when I saw this movie, right when it came on cable. Let's go back in time to the 1950s. The 1950s comic books were huge, Serling, and this movie is kind of a love letter to a company called EC Comics. They were a publishing company in the 1940s who used to put out educational and religious comic books. But in the 50s, they were printing 50 million comic books a month.
50 million?
50 million.
Wow.
And 13 million of those were horror comics a month.
Ooh.
Yeah, so that's when EC Comics decided that they actually wanted to start making money. So they got smart. They started reading some of their own educational comics, I guess, and started putting out horror comics. And they were pretty violent and gruesome and very unpopular with straight-laced, like 50s parents who did not want their kids anywhere near the newsstands to even catch a look at the spectacularly graphic covers. So there was a whole uproar that went all the way up to Congress. And they were trying to link these horror comics to juvenile delinquency, although they were never able to prove that link. They never substantiated it. They didn't have any data or evidence for it. EC Comics went into the toilet as a result of all this bad publicity, but it really left its impression on people who would go on to create incredible horror and sci-fi entertainment over the next decades. And one of the most important of those people was the guy who wrote this movie, Stephen King. But yeah, everybody was reading comics in the 50s. 40% of Americans above the age of 8 were reading comics. Huh. So that's young adults, that's adults. So comics were huge.
Whoa. So, should we do Daddy's Dumb Sum?
All right, but I'm just going to do one of the stories because doing this hurts my brain a little bit. So I'm going to go easy on myself. Okay. Let's see. Boy likes scary comics, Boy Dad doesn't like Boy Likes Scary Comics. Boy Dad also in The Fog
Dad,
and Halloween 3,
Dad,
so he should be way cooler.
Dad,
but Boy Dad, what?
Stop. That's not really one of the stories. That's kind of like the setup to the real story.
Okay, yeah.
Do one of the real ones.
All right, I'll try another one. Dumb Boy Meet Meteor.
No.
Dumb Boy Touch Meteor.
No,
Boy
stop.
Wants Sell
Stop.
Meteor.
Dad.
Meteor Grow
Dad.
Grass Very Fast. Grass Grow Very Fast. What? I thought you wanted me to do this.
No, please not that one. Do a good one. Do your favorite one.
Okay, well, that's pretty easy. Old boy visits younger boy at younger boy's house. Old boy not like younger boy, because younger boy is hubba-hubbying with old boy's wife. Old boy takes younger boy to beach, makes younger boy bury himself in sand up to younger boy's neck. Younger boy watches beach TV. Old boy's wife, younger boy girlfriend on beach TV, also up to neck in beach sand, going glub, 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 glub under waves. Old boy think problem solved. Younger boy and old boy wife now seaweed zombies. Seaweed zombies get old boy, bury him in sand up to old boy neck. Old boy now insane and about to go glub, 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 glub too. How was that?
I really liked it. Very good.
Thank you. So should we just go story by story?
Yeah.
I think we can skip the whole bit with the dad and the son, the whole framing story.
Yeah, we don't need that. But that's Stephen King's son, right?
True. Hard to say who the better actor is in this, Steve King or his 10-year-old son.
I'd give it to the son.
And the great Tom Atkins plays the mean dad who doesn't want his son reading those damn comics. He reminds me so much of my dad, Papa, your granddad. More when he's rocking a mustache like in Halloween 3 or Lethal Weapon. But
And it does kind of set up the look of the movie, because sometimes there are scenes that are playing like right in a comic page, which I thought those were cool. And
certain shots in the 5 stories suddenly cut to being shown inside the panel of a comic book page, which is neat.
Yeah, and the lighting gets really cool and colorful, even in the comic strip parts. I like that.
It's a very fun touch.
All right, so the first one is about a family gathered together to celebrate Father's Day. You already kind of spoiled it by saying, I want my cake.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. But the father was recently murdered by his daughter. And that's okay, because the father was a terrible, terrible person who definitely deserved a marble ashtray to the head.
Yes. But this guy won't stay buried.
Yeah, he pops out of the grave and then kills the daughter and tracks very muddy footprints into the very clean house.
Yes, immaculate home.
Yeah, to get revenge on the whole family that covered up his murder to get their greedy little hands on his money.
Okay, not bad. And you got a very young Ed Harris thrown in for good measure, so that's kind of fun. So what did you rate Father's Day overall as a story in this?
Let's see. I gave this a 7.5 out of 10.
Okay. I'd go 7, maybe 6.5. It's a little blah after you've seen it once and kind of know the scoop, but decent. Yeah. And a great looking corpse.
Thank you, Tom Savini.
Yeah, you're becoming a big fan of Tom Savini, right?
Yes, I am. I've been watching videos of him on
Letterman.
Yes, Letterman. Mm-hmm. And he has a cameo in this too at the end.
Yep. Look for that towards the end. And a legit cool death in this story, right?
Stay tuned to see if it makes our coolest kill for the movie.
Yeah, and we had an SGS moment here with that hand coming out of the grave the first time you watched this. Yeah.
I did?
Yep.
Wow.
It counts. Second story is the one very much starring our movie scribe, Stephen King.
Hashtag, I'm not explaining this. You can do this.
His performance isn't our favorite.
Maybe
at least partially because he's flanked on all sides by some truly great actors turning in really good and sometimes great performances in this movie. But he plays a farmer whose farm is the landing spot for a meteor. He initially thinks he's going to get rich. It's kind of like the Blob intro, right? But then he gets some of the meteor goo on him and turns into essentially like a walking weed, right? And the green moss that the meteor sprouts coats the farm and then ostensibly starts spreading out to take over the world.
Okay, my rating is a 3 because they went way too goofy on this one. It's so bad. The set wasn't that bad though, but it did remind me of The Grinch.
Yeah, he does look like the Grinch.
But they could have made this terrifying. They could have made him ripping off the moss, accidentally ripping off his skin.
Or pulling it out of his mouth and nose.
Yeah, they could have done that.
They could have gone that direction. But I did a little research, and here's what Stephen King had to say about his performance in this. No. He said, I had a little trouble at first. George, the director George Romero, George wanted a caricature of a dirt farmer, not a real one. So I had a little trouble, but he took me aside and he said, Steve, do you know the old Roadrunner cartoons? You know how Wile E. Coyote looks when he falls off a cliff? That's what I want. And I'd say that's fairly close to what he delivered, so blame it a little on George Romero too. But that's a lot of blame required on this story, so I can't go any higher than 3 on this too. I might have to go 2.5. Although I can show it some appreciation for, like you said, making you feel really uncomfortable watching the progressing stages of the farmer's condition as it becomes more and more green and fuzzy.
Yeah. Grinch. But story 3, something to tide you over.
First off, perfect title. Clever, funny, creepy. Everything this movie aspires to. So, I know I did the daddy dumb sum, but we got Leslie Nielsen confronting Ted Danson because he's been having an affair with his wife. He kidnaps Ted Danson at gunpoint, makes him go into a hole in the sand, covers him up to his neck, and then he says, I told you I'd let you see Rebecca. I always keep my word. And then he puts a TV in front of him that has a long cable attached to it. And he shows him a recording that's happening in the moment of Rebecca, also buried up to her neck, a little further down the beach, but about to be overcome by the water. And then he's going to do the same thing to Ted Danson. And he does. And then he goes back to his beautiful beachfront condo, pours himself a drink, and thinks everything is cool, but he starts hearing little voices.
Oh, I love that.
And then, yes, the boyfriend and his wife come back as zombies, and no matter what he does...
Zombies are just ghouls.
I'd say they're...
tidying up their unfinished business.
Maybe they're ghosts because they don't show up on his, like, closed-circuit monitor system. Yeah. But yeah, he can't shoot them, can't run away from them. And then, yeah, we might get into this in a little bit more detail later. Yeah. But yeah, what's your rating on this?
9.5.
I go 10. This is a slam dunk. We are back on track in a big way. Complete course correct with this one.
All right, story number 4, The Crate. Oh, I remember when I was little, I was terrified by this, right?
Little? Like a year ago, you couldn't make it through this one.
2 years ago. I watched this when I was 9, right?
I think so.
Yeah, still good. So a janitor working in a college basement lab finds an old crate under a stairwell that dates back almost 150 years ago from an Arctic expedition. If it's in a box, if it's chained up, don't touch it.
Yeah, the chains are a dead giveaway that there's
like,
maybe something sharp in there. So then we wouldn't have a movie. Like the janitor would find the crate and just go, I better not touch that, and then go back to polishing the floor.
Yeah.
The end.
Duh.
And the Oscar goes to...
Not that. Not at all.
So the janitor calls the head professor, Professor Stanley, over to the lab, and they open it. And what's inside?
It's like a missing link-like creature, right? With razor-sharp teeth and claws, and it promptly eats the janitor and one of the professor's students. So Professor Stanley runs to tell his best friend, Professor
Northrop.
Mm-hmm. Northrop sees this as a perfect opportunity to get rid of his horrible wife, Wilma, or Billy. So he drugs his buddy so he falls asleep, which I think he needed. He was freaking out.
So he slips something into Professor Stanley's drink so he falls asleep.
And then leaves a note for Wilma to meet him at the lab. And he just adds like a bunch of gossip on it.
Yeah, to like bait for her.
Yeah.
Yeah, he makes up a story about Professor Stanley maybe having not so appropriate relations with a young co-ed.
Affair.
And she is hooked. She's like, oh, I can't wait to get over there and see what's going on.
That's all I'm going to say here because this one is it's really good too.
Yeah, we don't want to ruin it.
Yeah, and we should have some non-spoiler descriptions here.
Good point. Yes. So what's your overall rating on the crate?
I think I gave it an 8. Yeah.
An 8 for the crate. I almost gave this an 8.5, taking points off for a little of the silliness with Professor Northrop's fantasies about killing Wilma.
I liked those.
And the cartoonist look of the creature. But this is a comic book horror movie, and that's the point. And the gore effects are really good, and it's really tense. So I'm correcting upwards to a 9.5.
Oh.
And Hal Holbrook, Fritz Weaver, Adrienne Barbeau, another fantastic cast, all committing very nicely to this.
Can I bump mine up to an 8.5?
You can bump it up to an 8.5.
Yay!
Yeah. Last story. And we'll get more into what we liked about each of these and maybe didn't like so much after the deep dive.
Yeah. So last story, they're creeping up on you. I like the title.
It's
it
a
makes
clever
you
title.
wonder, like, what's creeping up on you? Like, oh, I need to watch this because I want to know what. Super jerk Upson Pratt is a germaphobe sealed off in his ivory tower, sterile white penthouse apartment, and conducting terrible business over the phone / intercom system. This guy is a real...
He's a real piece of work. He's a real Ebenezer Scrooge.
Yes.
But he's in the middle of taking over a rival company whose president kills himself as a result. And Pratt is delighted and even taunts the poor man's widow over the phone.
Well, he gets his and then some as cockroaches start to invade his squeaky clean existence. A couple of pests quickly turn into an army and they swarm over him, proving that you can't treat people like bugs without eventually having to pay the price. Enough said.
Yeah, nicely done. 7 for me on this one. Not bad. And again, very effective the first time you see it, but doesn't really stand up to repeat viewings as well as the previous two stories.
7.5 for me.
Okay. All right. Trailer.
Yep.
This is a good trailer.
Coming soon. Jolting tales of horror. Creepshow. From the author of Carrie, The Shining, and Cujo. And the creator of Night of the Living Dead and Dawn of the Dead. You'll scream at ghastly ghouls. Cringe at weird kids. And shiver at the doings of evil doctors.
This is going to be extremely painful, Mr. Verrill.
Creepshow will grab you, grow on you, and give you the creeps.
No, this is going to be an entirely new experience.
Creepshow, the most fun you'll ever have being scared.
I like the music.
Yeah. Recommended age. So you tried this when you were 9.
I think I'm
Didn't quite work.
gonna kind of bump it up because of the crate and it's real. The gore effects in that are amazing.
And it's very suspenseful, that one.
11.
Okay. Yeah, I was going 12 because that's when I saw it.
11 and a half.
There's gore. And like we said, we had to turn this off a year ago or so during the crate. You got too wound up. So yeah, we'll go 11.5.
Yeah.
Sounds
But
good.
I really liked it this time around.
Yeah, and we were talking about that, and that's another reason why horror movies are kind of fascinating and fun.
Yeah, because you can watch it when you're a little too young and
Just
be
a little under the
like,
wire.
too scared to go on because of the crate. And then again, 6 months later, be super charged up and excited by the same stuff.
Yeah, a little familiarity, a little comfort with it lets you kind of commit full force and experience it on a little higher level.
Yeah, I was like getting all tense because I was really scared. And then I saw it and I just burst out laughing because I was like, the monster didn't even look as scary. I was imagining it to be like...
You were like, it's actually kind of cute in a way. Although obviously extremely temperamental.
Especially when you hit it in the head with a wrench.
So what's your one-word review for Creepshow?
Suspenseful.
Okay.
For the crate and for they're all creeping up on you.
And Something to Tide You Over has that suspense too.
And the first one.
Father's Day? It's got that jolt.
Yeah.
And then you're just waiting for everybody to die. Yeah. I think definitely The Crate has a lot of suspense. I think Something to Tide You Over has a suspense. Yeah. Especially when they come back and sneak into his house. That's suspenseful. Because you know it's going to happen. You just don't know exactly when he's going to get it.
I was just about to say that.
My one-word review, patchy. It's uneven. It peaks in the middle, which is weird. But if you play around with like the ordering of the story, you would have a totally different impact. You know, if you get rid of the meteor story altogether, it's a lot stronger. And you end with a crate, then you've got a tighter movie that's still featured length.
I'm telling you, Dad.
And it ends strong instead of just with an ending that's a gross out with all the cockroaches coming out of them.
We were eating dinner while we watched this.
Yes.
Lovely.
What else came out in 82?
Yes.
So Creepshow in the theaters was up against what?
Pieces?
That's a Texas Chainsaw Massacre ripoff movie. I've never seen it. It has a very iconic video box cover, though, I remember.
Now, Dad, we have some really good ones, so I'm going to get rid of some of the ones that aren't that. So we have Cat People, the remake.
Okay, yeah.
Swamp Thing, remember
also
Thing?
Also with Adrienne Barbeau, who's in this.
Parasite.
Never seen that. That's not David Cronenberg.
Get your hands ready for some clapping.
Oh, okay.
Friday the 13th, Part 3.
That's not my favorite.
Which one was that?
That was the one that was shot in 3D.
Oh, never mind. Halloween 3!
Yeah, the underappreciated Halloween 3, which is actually a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Thing!
All right. We've got to find a way to crowbar in The Thing, because I'm not waiting till the tease.
No. Poltergeist.
That's another one that I saw with my buddies, and we saw it in the theater, and actually for my 12th birthday. And one of our friends in the group was really scared of scary movies. We'll talk about him again when we talk about Friday the 13th. But he pretended to have an injured foot to get out of going to my birthday party.
Oh, it was your birthday.
It was for my birthday. And we all wanted to go see Poltergeist. And he was like, can't we go see Rocky 3? I'm like, sorry, buddy. Got to go with the group consensus here. It's because we had already seen Rocky 3. That came out like 2 weeks before.
But you could have told him, like, when the scary parts were going to happen.
But we hadn't seen it yet. It was brand new in the theaters.
How about for pluses, we just share, like, our biggest plus from each episode?
Yeah, because we've been talking about what we like and what we didn't like.
So for Father's Day, did we talk about the lighting of Father's Day? I think we did.
I think we mentioned it, but you can just underscore that.
No, because
I'm going to underscore the corpse. That was
the best part. I was going to do.
All right, so there's our pluses.
Yep.
The lighting, the effects, and the creature effects. I think we can skip the Blob ripoff, Geordie Verrill, Stephen King. The ending of it's kind of cool. How you see the signposts and it says like Portland and pointing to different cities, and the moss is already starting to grow through the ground. That was kind of neat.
Yeah. Something to tide you over.
Well, the twists of this are great because you don't know what Leslie Nielson's plan is. You think it's Rebecca's burial mound in the sand at first, and then you find out, no, it's a hole, and he wants you to crawl in it. And he's like, now I'm going to show you Rebecca. And now you can get out of this if you can. And he actually gives them like some instructions. And you got to keep your cool. And then the twist with the zombies. And then the zombies not killing him. The zombies doing to him exactly what he did to them. So it's a fun ride, that one. Oh, I also like how you see the zombies first through the aquarium in his condo. Kind of sloshing their way in.
My biggest one is Double Revenge. Because, like, he stole his
wife.
Yeah.
So Leslie Nielson gets his revenge.
Yeah, and then they get their revenge. It's triple revenge.
It's a nice twist, like I was saying, yeah. All right, the crate.
Yes. The cleanup scene.
Oh, yes. That's a great one.
Mainly the cleanup scene.
Hal Holbrook mopping up all the blood so that Wilma won't suspect anything when she gets there.
It's so good.
And it's intercut with her reading the note that he's left her. And he's like dipping the mop in the bucket, starting to slosh up the blood. And she's getting some milk from the refrigerator in the house and reading his note. And you hear his voiceover of what he was written. It's really good.
Yeah.
And then she gets there just as he's putting the mop bucket back in the closet.
And she could have gotten there earlier and she would have been,
I know.
What the hell is going on?
It's good that everyone followed the script and it turned out perfect.
That's why it's suspenseful.
I know. And they're creeping up on you.
Oh, yes.
What was your favorite part of that?
The roach in the blender.
Ooh, yeah, when he eats it out of his protein shake.
And also when she's calling him and says, I hope you die.
And he's in the process of dying. So she gets her wish. I liked the setup of that one because you have him all alone, sequestered off in what's supposedly his safe space. But you've got this, you hear this storm approaching in the background. So you know something's going to happen. And then when the lights go out, right as the cockroaches are starting to semi-swarm, and then by the time his emergency generator goes back on and the lights come back on.
They're everywhere.
Coolest kill. Oh, let's say the episode first.
Yes.
So 3, 2, 1.
The crate.
The crate, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, now let's pick the best kill in the crate. 3, 2,
2,
1.
Billy
Charlie
/
Garrison, the graduate student who's in there before the term starts. Wait, who?
Billy/Wilma.
Oh, you have a different coolest kill than I do.
How does that guy die again?
So he crawls into the stairway nook after the creature has pushed himself back and his crate, his home. And then the creature surprises you by not being back in the crate where you're expecting it to be. It's kind of hiding in the shadows and then surprise attacks Charlie. And then he scrapes him across the chest and then he bites right into his face.
Oh, I forgot about that.
It's fantastic stuff. So that's my coolest kill.
Do you see Wilma die?
Well, you do, but
it's not as graphic
right.
as yours.
Yeah, he sort of grabs her and is shaking her and kind of bites into her, but she doesn't get, like, ripped apart like Charlie does.
Can I change mine?
But I like that that's what it all culminates in. So this guy has his fantasies fulfilled in this thing. He's finally done with his wife. It doesn't exactly happen like you think it's going to happen. So there's a little surprise.
I just wish that they showed it.
But I think it's okay because you got all the gore with the Charlie Garrison kill, and you can imagine what it's doing to her.
True.
So I think it's okay.
You can hear it, and you see the blood pouring from.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna keep mine.
Cool. Good.
Okay.
So let's talk SGS moments.
Okay.
We had the hand popping up, so we had one in Father's Day, and then a couple in the crate.
8.
2. Oh, you?
No, I'm kidding. 2.
Yeah, 2. I think there were 2. And then, did you get shocked with the cockroaches the first time?
No, not shocked. I got squeamish.
Okay, so we got.
And I got squeamish.
So we got 4 SGS moments in Creepshow. Not bad.
Ray, careful, my dear. Sorry, our dog.
She's getting wrapped up in your microphone wire.
Yeah. All right. So, Flight by Freeze.
Oh, who will fight? Who'll be given the fight? And who's just probably gonna freeze?
What do you got for fight?
Charlie trying to bonk the crate.
Creature in the head.
Yeah.
Flight.
Upson Pratt, right?
Running. Yeah, he's running from the especially when he runs into his sealed hyperbolic chamber. Yeah. How about freeze?
The brother and sister at the end of Father's Day. But the best one is Leslie Nielson, who plays Richard in Something to Tide You Over.
Yeah.
When he realizes there's no escape from the seaweed zombies, and he just laughs as the last of the evil drains from his soul and is replaced by just utter madness.
Yeah, that's great.
All right, so since we're talking about him, let's turn on our spotlight.
Is Leslie Nielson your Serling spotlight?
Yes.
Oh, this is terribly exciting. All right, tell us about Leslie Nielson, the great Leslie Nielson.
He was famous for the Naked Gun movies.
Yeah, and it was also a TV show before they made it into a movie. Didn't do very well, but enough people liked it that they were like, all right, there might be a market for this. And then they made 3.
Airplane.
Yep.
He basically did a lot of comedic movies, but he actually started off as a serious dramatic actor because he was in Poseidon Adventure.
Yeah, and I remember seeing him back when he had red hair before it turned white. And he was, this TV show was in black and white, but it was called The Fugitive. And they made the movie out of it.
Yeah.
But it used to be a TV show, and he played a character on The Fugitive. That's the first time I remember seeing him career-wise for him.
But then he made Airplane, and it changed the course of his career and made him a big star.
Yeah, and he was in another movie that maybe we'll cover on this. It's more of a sci-fi film. Do you have it on there? Forbidden Planet? So he did a movie called Forbidden Planet, which is a sci-fi version of a William Shakespeare play called The Tempest. And we've watched it. It's about the spaceship that sets down on the planet and Forbidden Planet. And there's a doctor and his young daughter already living there. And they've made peace with all the nature there. And they've actually created animals. But there's this mysterious destructive force that they have to reckon with. So Leslie Nielsen is in that movie. And
who does he play?
He's like the captain of the spaceship. He's like the main guy who falls for the daughter. That's it on Leslie Nielsen?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Leslie Nielsen was he the best part of this movie? For me, he was.
Yeah, same.
He was my favorite actor in this movie.
He's also a really good actor.
Yeah.
Like, just in general.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's too bad that people just know him for the silly, goofy stuff that he used to do, because he is
he
actually
was
a really good actor.
Man. But that's all we have for my spotlight. Can you turn
For
it
this
off,
week.
please?
Yeah, it's blinding me.
I know. It's so bright. Thank you. Tomato.
Okay, so this got a 66%, so that puts us in Moana 2 territory.
Oh, isn't that the new movie?
That's the new one, yeah.
I'm not gonna see that then.
Krampus, which is a Christmas creature horror movie. Home Alone, which I don't think you've ever seen. Another Christmas movie. Insidious got 66%. Suspiria, the remake, which I do need to watch. And Friday the 13th, the original, got 66%. What do you, I know you've only seen it once, but what do you think is better, Friday the 13th or Creepshow? What's a better horror movie?
Dad, I gotta take points off for the Moss one. I gotta.
Yeah, okay. So you think Friday the 13th is
Yeah.
better? I do too.
Yeah.
We watched about 2/3 of Creepshow 2. What do you think that got on Rotten Tomatoes?
33.
Ooh, high. 29. A review described it as glancingly developed, which means they probably needed a couple more script rewrites. Ask me if there was a Creepshow 3. Guess.
Was there a Creepshow 3?
Yep. Guess what it got on Rotten Tomatoes?
20.
0.
Ah!
Ask me if there was Creepshow 4.
Was there a Creepshow 4?
It's time for everybody's favorite game. Guess
The
tomato. Oh, you don't want to play this game anymore?
No, I
Fine.
did.
Oh, well, because you don't sound very excited to play this game.
I'm so excited! Yay!
This movie also scored a 66%. And I'll start to give you little details, obscure at first, of course, and then increasingly easier and more obvious. And the sooner you guess the movie I'm talking about, the more points you get. And as always, please feel more than free to play along at home. So 5 points. This is for 5 points. You get 5 points if you can name the movie after this clue, and then 1 point less for each clue after. So this 66% Rotten Tomato movie has a dog that seems to be able to talk to the movie's main character. Any guesses? And you have seen this movie, and you like this movie. A dog that seems to be able to talk
I know what
to
movie
the
it is,
main
but I can't.
character.
I forgot the name of the movie. I know what movie it is.
We're down to 4 points now.
No, stop. I just know. I just need the name of the movie. I know.
Oh, you want me to give you the name of the movie?
No, Dad. I know which movie it is. I just forgot the name.
Not really getting how you play this game.
Cujo. No.
He talks to the main characters. I have rabies. I want to eat you.
Yeah.
All right. There's a time limit here. So now we're down to 4 points. This movie also has a lot of celebrity cameos in it, just like this movie. But one of the celebrity cameos is from an actor who used to lend his vocal talents to a television show that we love, Bob's Burgers, until he decided it would be a good idea to storm the Capitol on January 6th, a few years back. Protest of Donald Trump losing to Joe Biden.
Oh, that was the guy that played Jimmy Pesto.
Mm-hmm. Almost down to 3 points. Tick tock, tick tock. He's got a little cameo, and I've pointed him out. Down to 3 points.
Wait, Hotel
now.
for Dogs? No.
This movie also has Buddy the Elf in it.
I know which movie it is.
Buddy the Elf in it, a dog. 2 points now. We're down to 2 points. This movie is about people who read the news.
Newsies!
Down to 1 point now. This movie features an all-out street brawl between different news teams, and someone gets his arm chopped off.
Anchorman.
Wow.
Dang it.
You want to go one higher or one lower than Creepshow on Rotten Tomatoes?
One lower.
One lower, 65%, a horror movie called Mimic about gestating huge mosquitoes living in the subway. Predators, one of the Predator movies. Oh. Rocky, wait for it, 3, which you haven't watched. Oh, speaking of Poltergeist, because it was between Poltergeist and Rocky 3. Mr. T, great villain in that one. And one higher than this at 67%. Favorite movie of ours, The Running Man. Also based on a short story by Stephen King. Yay! The Godfather 3, Addams Family, the live action one, and Beverly Hills Cop, the new one, Axel F, which we started trying to watch. Bondometer?
Yep. Bondometer. So
Bondometer.
Bondometer.
I like that I always say bondometer or ometer, and you always say o-meter.
Yeah.
Like the O-Neaters.
Oh my god.
The wonders.
Anyway, so a 66%, no direct match, but...
So there's no James Bond movie with a 66% on Rotten Tomatoes?
No, but it's a snug fit between a 64% Diamonds Are Forever and a 67%...
Let me try to guess. So Diamonds Are Forever was lower than this, and... one higher than that. So give me the rating on the one that's that's higher than this.
67.
67. Is it a more?
It is.
Is it Man with a Golden Gun? No, I bet that's less.
No.
Is it Live and Let Die?
Yes.
Oh, okay. That was Roger Moore's first. And some would say, depending on how you count things, Sean Connery's last as Bond. I'm a dork. Fearometer.
I love you.
Aw, thank you. That's the first time you've gone on record saying that on the show. I'm going to isolate that and play it over and over and over again for a bonus episode. Please, no. Fearometer, what do you give for Creepshow?
I did...
Overall now.
5. You?
4. The crate always works for me. But...
a few of them aren't that scary.
Yeah. And you know, that last one's just kind of a creepy, gross one. So I think 4 is fair. But I like 5 for you. Funometer, I gave it a 9. Mainly because of Leslie Nielson and Something to Tide You Over. But this is a fun movie, even with Jordy Verrill.
I gave it an 8.5.
Okay. So just skip over the Stephen King one. The rest of them are still watchable. Impactometer.
Here's where it gets interesting.
Okay, this is always where it gets. That's exactly what I had. Why did you say 6.5?
Well, I said 6.5 because the crate can really have a large impact on you and
lasting impact on your brain.
And the last one really makes you think like
they stay with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you can't make them go away. They will not go.
And even that first jolt in Father's Day and how good that corpse looks with the maggots hanging off of his teeth as he's saying, I want my cake. Yeah, I gave it a 6.5 also because it continued the legacy of these comics. It was successful enough to warrant a sequel. I think Romero wrote part 2. Stevie King wasn't involved and needed to be, quite frankly. Next time on DDSH.
Spot a puzzle that really needs to be solved.
And you don't have to be square to watch it. Perfectly squared, to be more specific. I've said too much.
And hey, for all of you out there who are saying, what gives? They haven't done a bonus episode yet this season.
Fret not.
It's coming and it's going to be great.
It is? Oh, no, we're doing it. Well, we can remind them what the bonus episode is. It's the Christmas carols where we're comparing the ghosts of the two versions.
You've ruined it.
No, we already talked about in Creature. Oh, if you haven't listened to Creature, go listen to Creature and pretend I didn't say that. Bye.